Hello everyone, welcome back to Cruel and Unusual Storytime. I am your host, Simon Dexter, and we are resuming our read-through of In Unknown Clutches, a Ben 10 fanfiction. Welcome back. Second Sunday. I think we should be okay as far as interruptions go, but I can't promise that. It's pretty early, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Otherwise, if you are new, I actually started reading this last week, so I'm going to leave a link to the last video right at the top of the description. And just go ahead and scroll down real quick, just click on it, it'll be right there. Be good to go. But for those of you who are caught up but want like a brief, summary just to catch you up, Ben and Gwen, or better put, the two characters with Ben and Gwen's skins on them, because they do not act like their in-show counterparts whatsoever, have been abducted by aliens and are now being forced to mate, except for at the current moment, they have been split up to do other experiments that I'm assuming are also sexual. What the fuck do I know, right? So, yeah, just a little not safe for work warning. I know it's Sunday, so... But you could not be watching this on a Sunday. You could be watching this on a Monday in the future. So hopefully your headphones are in. So, I guess that's all I've got to say. Sit back, relax, and let's read some more of In Unknown Clutches. If it was In Known Clutches, I feel it'd be a little less tense. Also, I looked ahead on the chapter counter thing. There's going to be 4 chapters of this. This is going to be not too long, but long enough considering it's only one video a week. Whatever, though. Always starts with author notes. Author's notes. Wow, thank you all so much for reviewing. It really made me motivated to upload the next chapter. Unfortunately, my next update will be slightly late due to school, tests, etc. Face. I figured the story should be only 3 or 4 chapters, so do check up on it and keep reviewing. It helps me a lot to get motivated. Well, at least people are being nice to this person. It is actually decently well written. It's just not good fan fiction. It's just a good story. Not even... we'll get to that later. Edit update... 16/10/2012. Oh, and they must be from like England or some shit, because their date system is different than ours. For some silly mistakes, author's note 2, please tell me if I should add a citrus scene in the next chapter or just skip the mating details. I really am inexperienced, but if you want, I may try my hand at writing it. You're inexperienced and you're writing a sex story? Oh no. Not looking forward to this. Okay, let's just do this. Okay, chapter 2. Gwen bunched up her long red-orange hair to one side of her shoulder, sighing as she tried in vain to pull down the simple white gown she wore over her knees. She wears a simple white gown. Oh. It resembles those typical hospital ones, making her feel as though she was about to undergo a surgery. She stared around for the 100th time, having already memorized every inch of the place. This new room was not so different from the previous one. It had the same gleaming white floor, white walls, and white lights. The only difference were that it was bigger, having the doors that was not always kept locked and various experimental instruments lined up against one wall. She herself sat on a stretcher, legs dangling on the edge, hands on her lap. "We'll be back in a moment, human." Gwen looked up at the 2 aliens. Obviously they're aliens, they need to be quote-unquote, right? Now we're also present in the room. Also, did we skip ahead quite a bit? Like, in time, not, like, literally. Because it feels like she's used to it by now, which is weird. Both wore dark robes and hoods over their heads, which she could only spot gleaming golden eyes. They looked human, with normal hands and body structure. However, she knew appearances could be deceiving. Indeed, she remembered what those very human-like hands could transform into. What? I don't want to know. Like, seriously. Gwen sighed again, hoping Ben was acting sensible. She knew how much he died to escape, and separating her from him made him feel worse. "Why can't we do these stupid tests together?" Ben had yelled at the 2 aliens who were restraining the brunette from each arm. In efforts to keep the boy from escaping their grasp, the 2 hooded creatures transformed their hands into claw-like things. with long bony fingers and long pointed nails. Okay, I guess I thought the worst. Gwen had been terrified to see those hideous claws touching her cousin, begging him to stop struggling. Ben, please go quietly with him, please, you little nitwit. That had at least made Ben stop struggling, though he did throw heavy scowls in her direction before getting blindfolded. Once Ben had left, 2 more aliens, stop putting it in quotes, they're obviously aliens, came to put her a blindfold. Oh wow, there were like no typos in this one. I finally hit one. It only took a chapter, guys, so over almost 40 minutes. She had no choice but to oblige. It was either that or death. They took her through many turns and passages, and in between her shifting, she had tried to summon up her mana in vain. If it didn't work the first time, it's not going to work now, because you're not in the kids' show anymore. The remaining hope that she could find a way to escape got squashed out of her after that. I got squashed out of you a long time ago. You're pretty sad in the last chapter. Gwen let her face fall into her hands, wishing it was all a dream. Bitterly she knew it was hopeless, and both she and Ben were doomed to play into the hooded creature's hands. She breathed deeply, frowning at the strange smells from her skin entered her nose. A nice warm bath would be the first thing I would do if and when we get out of here alive. The strange spells were not bad. I love how I can actually scroll on this website. Sorry. Just creepypasta Wikia doesn't let me do that, and this one does. It makes me happy. Strange smells were not bad. In fact, they were pretty nice, like some flowery and fruity scents all combined together. Gwen frowned for a second, wondering how she smelled like this. Oh yeah, the purifying water. Whatever that is. When she had been led away from Ben, the aliens... I'm going to punch you. No, I'm not, because that'd break my little hands. Had led her into a relatively large room that looked like a normal bathroom. They had ordered to get rid of any waste or body fluids that could disrupt the tests. In other words, please piss and shit now. We are not into that. Though Gwen felt humiliated at this order, she had to obey, going through a routine she did before she went to bed every night. The aliens, that's not going to get old, then made her bathe in a huge tub filled with sparkling lavender liquid, which had at first made her freeze on the spot. "Oh, that looks dangerous," she had said in a shrill voice. "Do not worry," one of the hooded creatures said, and Gwen could detect a hint of amusement in its emotionless voice. "It is simply purifying water. It will remove unwanted substances from the surface of your body, mainly clog up your sebaceous glands to prevent excretion of oils." So it means I won't sweat? That's weird. What's the point of love making if there isn't a little sweat? Sorry. If they're going to make me do this, I might as well have fun with it, right? I mean the story, not the readers. I love doing it for you guys. Indeed, the alien proceeded to bunch up all of Gwen's hair into a knot, then placing a cover similar to a shower cap on her head. "Your head should stay above the surface of the purifying water." "Why?" "Because the water causes your skin to undergo depilation." Wow, a word I don't know. Go figure. "Your hair follicles shall weaken and fall out. However, if you would rather remove your scalp..." "No, thank you," Gwen said hurriedly, eyeing the sparkling liquid with suspicion. Once the creatures left, she had stripped and gingerly submerged into the liquid. Surprisingly, it was neither hot nor cold. The temperature was just fine. The fragrance emitting out was delicious. When she glided her fingers through the liquid, it felt like silk ribbons flowing through them instead. See, they're pretty good at describing shit. It's just, this is not a good fan fiction. Because where's the fan part of this? Except for people who have similar names to the main characters. Crap. I had to talk, didn't I? Oh, there we go. For the first time since she'd been captured, she had felt relaxed. The huge metal door that was opposite on the wall suddenly glided open, breaking Gwen's thoughts of the past. The previous 2 aliens entered the room again with silent footsteps. Gwen looked up from her hands and froze when she saw one of them holding a very big syringe. Reasonable response. "This is just to take some of your life essence, what you humans call blood." Gwen did not respond, staying mute and letting one alien strap her arm. It's just like a normal blood test, except she was afraid that the syringe was a monstrosity. Frankly, yeah. However, once the blood was collected and the alien... are they not aliens or something? Is that what you're trying to hint at me? Because... took out another syringe from its robe, she spoke up. What was that? I don't want more needles into my body, thank you very much. That was exactly what your mate said, too. That's also what your mate had also said. The alien said in slight amusement in its voice. Not to worry, this is not to collect blood. Gwen was slightly restless to realize that Ben had to go through everything, too, narrowed her green eyes. Now that, I could see it's filled with yet another sparkling red liquid. Indeed, the creature replied, positioning the needle at the surface of Gwen's skin. This won't harm you at all. I advise you to relax and avoid fighting its effects. This is going to be like some ecstasy shit, isn't it? That said, the needle inserted into her vein and all the sparkly red liquid entered the 17-year-old's body. They fixed her age. Why didn't they do that in the first one? Because, yeah, I swore she was slightly older than Ben. Gwen winced a slight prick at the start and at once felt the liquid's effects. She felt warm, fuzzy, slightly dizzy to the point her vision got blurred. What is that? What was that? She mumbled, putting a hand to her head as the aliens bandaged up her arm. Nothing much, only a sedative that will help you in your mating session. Gwen frowned, her mind working sluggishly. So she could not really grasp the meaning of what had been said. She bleakly realized she was actually being supported by the creatures. She couldn't stand up well. What's happening to me? She said in a panicked voice. Relax, human, one of the aliens said strictly, guiding her out of the room into the dimmed passage. These symptoms shall wear off in a few minutes. Gwen struggled to memorize the turns and passages of the ship as she was led along in a strange fashion, both aliens holding each of her arms, walking on either side of her like a bodyguard. Her feet kept stumbling on over each other. I cannot read today. I think it's because it's so early. Yet she could feel her mind getting her body back into control at a slow pace. Here we are. I assure you, you shall feel comfortable here. Gwen lifted her head up heavily as the metal doors in front of her slid open, revealing a dimly lit room. As she entered with the help of the aliens, she blinked furiously to let her eyes get accustomed to the darkness. It was a large circular room with a huge circular thing occupying the left side of the room. Vaguely and mortifyingly, she realized it was a bed. I gotta start looking at the camera when I'm doing that. I always keep looking at the little me that's right here, because I'm kind of a narcissist and think I look handsome. Not really. Not today. Ugh. Anyway. Shit. Okay. And there was somebody already in it. We based the room's atmosphere and design according to numerous research data about human mating habits and environments. We shall leave you two now, and need I remind you that escape from here is impossible. Okay, I guess we're getting started. So, if you'd like to go somewhere else, I guess that's okay. I would not blame you. Gwen scowled as her bodyguards left her standing on the spot, bidding them farewell, as though they were going to do something heroic. She swayed slightly on the spot, half ready to run out behind them, before she remembered the claw-like hands and her possible death, and the fact that you're kind of woozy at the moment wouldn't be very wise. Once she heard the door close and automatically lock, she turned to observe the room. Large and circular, illuminated dimly by lights that hung from each wall. They gave off soft golden hues that spilled lightly over the soft red carpet on the floor. Indeed, the room made her relaxed. Was that the sedative working? She shook her head to clear out a wave of approaching dizziness, trying to focus on the main objective in the room. Aren't sedatives supposed to knock you out? Ugh. Not exactly super caught up in medical jargon. She stilled, okay. Looked like only one L, so it kind of threw me off. She caught sight of the occupant on the bed. Ben was staring at her unmoving, his green eyes distant as though dreaming. He lay on his stomach, his chin propped up over his hands, a frown appearing on his face. Gwen, is that you? No, the only other fucking human on board. Gwen hesitated. Yeah, it's me. Ben stared for a few more seconds before slowly getting up, never breaking eye contact as he got off the bed. Gwen realized that he was also wearing nothing but a short white gown that reached to his knees. She blushed, looking away at once. It reached to his knees. It's not like he's that hung. I highly doubt it. Gwen, it's you, Ben, without warning, jumped at her, engulfing her into a bear hug. Gwen stayed still for a moment before trying to extract herself from his embrace. Not only did the knowledge about what they had to do made her suddenly recoil, the fact they both wore nothing but a flimsy piece of fabric over their bodies was plain disturbing. Apparently, Ben didn't seem to mind any of this. He's hopped up on the same drugs you are, sweetheart. It's going to kick in sooner or later. Oh, okay. What's wrong? Ben asked in a hurt voice, and Gwen could see his eyes still have a dreamy look. His almost familiar look, like those rare moments when her silly cousin would get himself very drunk. What? Fan fiction writers. If they don't do it in the show, they shouldn't do it in your story. Bugs the fuck out of me. Okay. Ben, tell me one thing, Gwen asked gently, stepping a few steps back, yet holding his hand in her own. Do those aliens inject you with some red liquid? Ben paused for a moment before breaking into a scowl. Oh yeah, they inject me with that sparkly stuff inside me twice. Twice! Okay, I know this site has italics. I know I didn't shout, but it's early and I don't want to wake people up. Oh, see? They have italics right here. I'm fucking looking at them. Okay, I guess he could be shouting, though. Okay. She sighed slowly. No, that's not what I want. Ben paused for a moment before... No. God damn it, where am I? That's Gwen. Gwen frowned herself, concerned for her cousin's state. Once is more than enough, yet they had to inject Ben twice? Did he cause a lot of problems? Probably. This Ben's kind of an asshole. She sighed slowly, putting Ben down on the bed for him to sit. He complied like an obedient child, staring at her with eyes that blinked sleepily. Gwen, I feel really weird, Ben stated suddenly, clutching his head with both hands. After they injected me with that stuff, I couldn't walk on my own. I still feel drowsy, but calm. What did they put in me? A sedative, Gwen replied grimly, sitting beside her cousin on the soft bed, to make us relax and calm our nerves, for... Gwen swallowed, not wanting to complete the sentence. Instead, she lifted her head a little to see Ben's face, whose nose was almost touching hers. You had that stuff injected in you too? Ben asked in a whisper, though the frown on his face told Gwen that he was mad. Yeah, once. Ben kept staring into her eyes, which were just a few inches away. The intensity of the gaze suddenly made her heart flutter and beat faster, just like when Kevin would throw her winks when he thought no one was looking. Oh my God, what is happening to me? Heart, stop it. You're turning pink, Ben spoke up suddenly, an eyebrow raised, yet a slow smile spreading across his lips. What happened, Gwen? Feeling hot? Yeah, I'm telling you, that wasn't just a sedative. Because sedatives just sort of take you down. Sometimes, not always, though. Gwen tore her gaze away from the devious smile, not understanding why it made a shiver go down her spine. She ignored the question and stood up, instead walking around the room to think. It's a sedative, Gwen murmured to herself, glancing at Ben. And every 10 seconds as she passed him, he just seemed to lie back down on the bed, his back propped up against the flat headboard. Obviously it affected Ben more, as he had double the amount injected that I had. As Gwen paced the room, Ben watched her calmly, wondering why the hell he didn't feel as agitated with the situation as she was. Wasn't he the one who was the most against it in the first place? He made the most noise and stubbornly refused to cooperate before. Then why was he calm now? Just explained it. It just explained it. Hate it when characters are stupid. Sedative. Ben remembered Gwen saying, "Yes, it had to be the stupid liquid. The stupid red liquid that went inside his body, not once but freaking twice. The damn liquid was the cause of his dizziness and tranquility, and the reason he suddenly couldn't keep his eyes off his cousin. Why had he never noticed how hypnotically her hips swayed as she walked before, or the fact that she was currently biting her lower lip made him want to bite it too? That was so fucking cheesy." Ben closed his eyes, trying to bring normal thoughts back into his mind. How did he end up having such ridiculous thoughts about Gwen, his cousin? He couldn't deny how tempting she smelled right now. What? Shut up, brain. How she smells? Seriously, control yourself. Okay, let me just remind you, too, why you're here and how you cannot escape. I don't know. Person's very good at wasting everyone's time. The way Gwen passed by him every moment sent a whiff of her unique different scent in his direction, making him slightly restless. Restless for what? Tenzin, stop your abnormal thoughts at once. She's your doofus cousin, remember? Her long, shapely legs were exposed to his appreciative stare, making him wonder whether Kevin realized he was a lucky guy to have this redhead as his girlfriend. Kevin, Gwen's boyfriend, remember that? Again, you're here. They're not going to let you go. These thoughts aren't helping you. They're just going to make it much more painful in the future. Surprisingly, the thought of Kevin made his mouth taste bitter. He did not deserve his cousin at all. Kevin was just a bad-mannered, power-loving, egotistic maniac who loved annoying him in any opportunity. He probably didn't even love Gwen and was only infatuated by her. Why couldn't Gwen see that? His sinister thoughts got suddenly interrupted when he noticed Gwen stare back at him. Ben, could you please stop staring at me like that? I feel as though you're burning a hole through my body. Gwen stopped walking, putting her hands on her hips in annoyance. For the past couple of minutes, Ben had been constantly following her every movement with his eyes. She was uneasy, not only because it made her want to cover herself, but because she had actually liked his attention. Good God. She also felt troubled at the way Ben was suddenly behaving, but she knew he was not in control of his senses at the moment. He was pretty drugged, so she could not muster up any anger towards him. However, the next thing he said made her dumbfounded. "Gwen, I want you to break up with Kevin." What? That's in the story and in my thoughts. End of chapter. Okay, so what is it? I'm reading fan fiction. I read a chapter, and there's nothing fucking to it. Like, seriously. I just... Okay, so anytime I read these, I'm always hoping that there'll be, some normal story regression. Like, even as much progression as we saw in fucking Jeff the Killer, in fucking The Rake, in fucking Squidward's Suicide. Something moving forward, but nothing happens, ever. There's like no events to these goddamn stories, and they're driving me fucking crazy. On the bright side, it came out shorter than the last video, but I even tried checking, see how long chapter 3 was, to see if I could just read it real quick. But I don't dare make this video any longer, so it's gotta wait till next week. Good, I'm so glad this fucking chapter wasted all of our time with just nothing but more exposition. Oh well. Them's the breaks, so if you like the video, like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. If you have suggestions for a fan fiction to read after I'm done with this one, please leave them in the comments below. Because if you don't, it's going to be left up to me which fan fiction I read next, and you don't want me to choose. Because I'm going to find the worst ones possible. So, hope you all had a good one. I will see you all on Friday for a new creepypasta. So, have a good one, folks.